Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. This is your boy, the coach from the WWE. I would like to welcome you to the very first wrestling podcast in the world to take you on a weekly deep dive into classic matches along with legends of the squared circle. Enjoy the discussion. Enjoy the back and forth. There's so much to get into. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Payoff.
Welcome to an all-new episode of The Payoff. I'm Tom. That's Jeff. 1992 Beach Blast. I'm excited for this one. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. You know, I feel like we're in the heat of wrestling season right now. We had the King of the Ring show. We were in Saudi. We've got, Clash at the Castle coming up here. We're kind of right in the heat of it all. I feel like Money in the Bank. I'm super excited for Money in the Bank. We're going to start ramping up for that pretty quick here. And so I think it's just, it's a good time to be a wrestling fan, and so
dude, it doesn't let up. I mean, it hasn't let up in 5 years. I mean, right.
Nope.
It's like, it's just, there was a time where there was a lull, but pre AEW, certain times of the year on the WWE calendar, it kind of lagged. But hell, for the past 5 years, there has not been a dull month in professional wrestling. It's just such a great time to be a fan. Yet you go on Twitter and people are angrier and more divided and pissed off than ever before. But we can get into all that. So I'm pumped to cover this one. Any reason in particular you picked?
Yeah. So this was, I think you and I had been texting about it, but this was, the Mick Foley came out and said he is not going to have a retirement match, which doctors were like, please don't do this. Like, please don't hurt yourself. Don't do this. And so he decided against doing the retirement match. But as I was, doing some other Mick Foley reading, he said that he felt, and we'll talk about it in the aftermath, but that he felt that this was one of the best matches that he ever worked. And so coming from him, I figured, okay, I don't know if that means from a technical standpoint or just the effort he put into it, because I have not watched this one outside of what we're about to do. And I don't remember it, but that's really the kind of motivation for this one is just, if Mick Foley says that he was working harder in this one, I'm going to believe the guy and no reason to not watch it because of that.
Yeah, and it's an 11-minute match, so my guess is it's going to be an 11-minute car crash, and I'm excited to cover it.
Right.
You can see the devilish grin on my face. So I say we jump right in. I say we jump right into this. Let's get to the build.
Oh, it's time for the build.
All right, so this is the first Beach Blast pay-per-view. Multiple beach-related, summer-related themes in WCW, but great names for these pay-per-views, and obviously some classic sets as well. And we'll take a look at what this one looks like. But this is June 20th, 1992. We're in Mobile, Alabama. Of course, we're at the Mobile Civic Center. We have 5,000 in attendance. And Jeff, I got to tell you, this was a fun card. Let me just run through this. Feels like almost everyone on the show is a Hall of Famer, if you can believe that. Start out with a dark match, 6-man tag of Junkyard Dog, Tom Zank, and Big Josh against defeating Tracy Smothers, Ricky Morton, and Diamond Dallas Page. So quite a gathering of those six, but really fun. We start off with a 17-minute WCW Light Heavyweight Championship match where Scotty Flamingo, who we know is Raven, is going to defeat Brian Pillman to win the title. Ron Simmons is going to defeat Terry Taylor in 7 minutes. Greg Valentine is going to defeat Marcus Bagwell by submission in 7 minutes. Then we get to the match we're going to cover, followed by a 30-minute Iron Man match with Ricky Steamboat and Rick Rude. Then a 6-man tag match of Dustin Rhodes, Barry Windham, and Nikita Koloff defeating the Dangerous Alliance. Paulie Dangerously and Medusa are going to accompany them to the ring. Of Arn Anderson, Steve Austin, and Bobby Eaton. That's going to be by DQ in 15 minutes. And then the main event of the Steiner brothers retaining the tag team championship in a 30-minute time limit draw against Terry Gordy and Steve Williams. So you run through this, and almost everyone's name I'm looking at is a Hall of Famer, almost. And some of them aren't yet, but probably will be. So pretty wild, man. We had Tony Schiavone and Bischoff on commentary, JR and Jesse Ventura around. Fun era for WCW. I'm excited to cover this one. I know these guys had a storied WCW feud. So how did we get to a Falls Count Anywhere match?
Yeah, so it's, like you said too, this being the first Beach Blast, excuse me. This was actually this took WCW at the time from 6 pay-per-views to 7 pay-per-views, 6th year previous in 1991, and so this was like you said, just the next one that they came up with. We'll see it kind of decked out in the beach theme, kind of sand, surfboards, all that stuff. So especially for Sting, like good match to have this one. It was also weird. It took place only 4 days after Clash of Champions. That would be 19. And so it kind of taking place at a weird time, but still, really good card. Like you said, a lot of good matches really after this match. And then after some really good stuff that was happening. And so, we had it June 20th, 92 is when this card was, show taking place. But just a couple months prior to this is when we had the big Sting Vader match as well, too, breaking Sting's ribs. That was, of course, at the Omni in Atlanta. He would eventually go on. He would continue feuding with Vader, which we'll talk about after the match at the Great American Bash and stuff like that. But during all of that, you actually had Foley, who was returning to WCW. It was in 1991. He had been on some house shows, but then as you get into late 1991, he actually started attacking Sting, who was the world champion at that time. And so he had some other feuds going on. I see Van Hammer, Abdullah the Butcher as well, too. But this one almost dating back the better part of 8 months with these guys kind of being in each other's universe. And so while they were having other feuds, decided to have this match. And so we'll see as we're having it too. It's Falls Count Anywhere, but it's also a non-title match. And so while Sting is the champ in this one, it's not for the belt. And so and that's pretty much it. I guess, at this point, fully, kind of knowing what he's going to do, I'm excited to watch this one. I think he could be a little, I don't know if it's going to get crazy. I don't know if it's just going to be stiff or what we're going to get, but I'm excited for this though.
It's going to be stiff. There's going to be plunder. I can't wait. And I'll tell you, I kind of have a bias towards these like 10 to 15 minute matches we cover, just because a lot of them that are highly ranked, they're just like go, go, go. Now they're not WWE speed length,
right,
but they're just really fun. So I'm excited to cover this one. 54-minute mark, WCW Beach Blast 1992. Season 1, Episode 1 on Peacock, 54 minutes. Jeff, are you ready?
Bang, bang. Let's do it.
I like what you did there.
Thank you. I know. I was thinking of it all morning.
Very clever. All right.
Thank you.
It's time for the payoff.
Oh, it's time for the payoff.
All right. Sting is on the ramp. He's got a championship belt around his waist. He's tan as shit. He's greased up and oiled. He's in the all pink. I just love this Sting presentation.
The look.
You're on the WCW ramp. So they had that just ramp, which was awesome. Cactus Jack is, in his leopard print, great fatigues as well. Obviously great gear for him. This just looks awesome. You have the
roll up right on the ramp. Yep.
Yeah. You have the old school kind of set and stuff. I mean, this is just, this is a great era. Oh, backdrop on the ramp.
Oh,
obviously,
yeah, big
give on that. I mean, this is we're off to a really hot start here. The lighting.
Go ahead.
That's the difference with like the even in 1992, the WWF was just so much more well lit. This just looked a little like dark and smaller. But it's just an observation. Yeah, dingy, dirty, right? I mean, it just looks dirty, dingy. It's dark. The fans are either dark. I mean, WWE, and Bruce Pritchard's talked about this probably wouldn't even be in my head, but like they lit up the fans, they lit everything up. Everything was so much more colorful. Even if you go back to the late 80s, it still looked better produced than this. All right, so Cactus, elbow off, and look at this. No, they have nothing on the floor either. That's just all cement on this floor.
Yep.
I mean, they couldn't have thrown down some mats.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is you said like that entrance ramp has like zero give to it. Like I was thinking, like even now, 2024, like the ring design has not changed. Like it's still wooden boards. There might be a little foam mat there, like, but it it ain't like a mattress with 16 layers. It's still wooden springs. Like it's tough. And like you said, right now, like. There ain't no mats out there. Like that is like the under concrete of like the ice rink that you would see, once they've melted everything down. I'm curious what would go on at the Civic Center here. I'll kind of pull it up while we're talking.
Oh, God.
Jesus.
Sunset flip off the apron by Cactus. It's amazing he's not in worse shape health wise. I mean, he's coming up on 60 years old, and I mean he's still able to walk around, and it's just hard to believe. I mean, just the amount of wear and tear. People, I think a lot of people associate Mick Foley with Mankind, but for 10 years prior to that, he was doing stuff that in a lot of cases was worse. I mean, look at this match, and people forget that too. So he came to the WWF, I mean, already having some miles on his body. So these guys are just beating each other up, and pretty much all Cactus on the offensive, and there we go over the ramp or over the.
I was saying this arena, it's Mobile, Alabama. It's like G League, minor league, some of that type of stuff. Developmental league, arena football is what was played here. So nothing big, but it's actually about to close and be demolished, and a new arena as well too. And so this one at the time, I'm looking at it. So this was, at the time it was minor league hockey. That was going on at this. So it was not designed. I mean, it's just one of those generic like venues that you and I see. That's kind of like the not big enough for an actual sports team, but we've got to do something to have these little concerts and stuff like that. And so that is that's where we're at. Yep.
Is there anyone? And I think I saw this on Twitter at some point, which has sparked the conversation. But is there anyone in wrestling over the years that maybe you've come around on to where like you just didn't get it at the time, or you thought they were like overrated, but as time's gone on, you're like, you know what, I do appreciate that wrestler, that performer, that character more. And I'll just give you three off, that I had written down when I was thinking about this. Randy Orton's one of them. I never got it, and I still don't. I don't love the guy, but it's like I respect him. There's the longevity there. I think he's pretty good in the ring. I think he can, be baby face or heel, RKO out of nowhere. So I'm like, okay, him. I've come around more on Bret Hart. I still, maybe it's just because he thinks so highly of himself, but I'm just like, And then I'll tell you the other one is The Rock. I mean, I'll tell you, like 97, 98, I always thought he was just a little overrated. And I think like putting him on the same level as Steve Austin, he never drew Austin money. He never sold Austin merch. He was a great foil for Steve Austin as a heel, but he's not on the Mount Rushmore for me. But again, I have come around on him. So hey, just three names that came to me. Anyone that comes to your mind?
Yeah, so I've gone the other direction of wrestlers I liked, and now I'm not a big fan of. This should be no surprise to listeners.
Goldberg.
Bill Goldberg, yes. And so I'm with you. The Rock's interesting. Your choice. I got a few, but like because I saw recently there were some articles that were saying like the only reason The Rock came back was actually to rehab his movie career, because there's all kinds of weird. I know I've sent you some of those articles. Like he's apparently not good on set. I just saw like some Ryan Reynolds movie like like, oh, big dump to the outside. Like he was like late to set and like pissing in water bottles. Like, did you see that one? Like that was really weird. Like just, so that was the only reason he kind of came back was to get his name out there that way. But I don't know. I'm actually not a big fan of The Rock right now. But for me, I'd say my wrestler is one that I enjoyed him at the time, but I respect him more now would be Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect. I think as we've gone back and watched some of his matches, I think that he is leaps, like the athleticism is incredible. Like he is just an absolute performer in the ring. I think it like to watch him is just incredible. I'm blown away. And so I think we need to cover another one of his matches sooner than later.
I'd love to do that. Yeah.
I'm with and here's an odd one too, and one that it's gotten over with me is actually The Miz. And so I know that it was actually my brother who was like, dude, watch him. This was 10 years ago or something like that. He's like, dude, actually watch him. Like he is working hard. And like now that we know a little bit more of the backstory, the R-Truth stuff that he's doing nowadays is just incredible. And so I think that's really good to throw his name out there. And then I've got a weird one for you that I want us to go and watch some of this person's matches because we know what he does behind the scenes and he reinvented himself a lot of time, but William Regal. And And so I think that he's one that I think he knew how good he was as he got older, as he is reinventing himself and doing all this other stuff. But I think that I'd be interested to watch some of his early matches and then some of his later matches because I was like, I nothinged him at the time, but now that we know,
me too,
the genius that he possesses, or like outside of the ring, like there's very few people I think that we could say that about. I think like obviously Triple H and Shawn Michaels have that, and they're able to do that and understand those types of things. But yeah, I think that Regal would actually be my last choice. So I'll get one of his matches on our list. But yeah, I think that's just a pure genius, nothing else. Yeah.
That's a good one. I like that. So these guys they're outside their, oh, geez.
Kind of dove. This is, we're looking at the, I was going to say the barricade. This is the old metal railing barricade. No give, no nothing. Yep.
Yeah. And Sting or Foley really brought out the best in Sting during some of these matches. I mean, it just got him, this wasn't what you thought of when you thought of Sting, but I mean, they're having just a really fun, good match. And it, got just really beating the hell out of each other. Oh, pile driver on the ground.
Pile driver, yep. It's weird too seeing all the ringside crew there. We forget about that, how many people are actually on ringside and kind of working the cameras and all this other stuff. They do so well at hiding themselves nowadays, but like that dude's got like shorts on. Like
WWE. I mean, I'm looking at three different camera guys from both angles. WWE just hides them all. It's unbelievable. All right, so second rope, elbow. Oh, God.
Oh, Sting kind of caught him on the way down. Yep.
Jeez. I mean, Foley is just taking a pounding in this match.
Sting, it must be doing a better job of selling, but he's like working like he's gassed, and Foley actually looks pretty good.
I noticed that Sting is completely blown up.
And this was, and I wonder if he's still a little bit recovering from the Vader stuff as well too, because like I said, that was a couple months prior to this where he had the broken ribs, he ruptured his spleen. So I'm wondering like if he's still he's working as best he can. Yep.
You totally put it in my head of all these camera guys. Now I can just see them all, and they're all wearing really short, like early '90s shorts too, which is kind of funny.
I don't know why they're in short like blue short shorts. WWE, we know they're all in black, and they are in AEW now too. Ooh, big chair shot to the knee that hurt. Yeah, I mean, they had him even well during War Games. There's like two camera guys in the ring, and you never see them. Like, it's just incredible. Whoa, I don't think that was intended. They kind of fell off the ramp there.
Jeez,
kind of beating the hell out of each other still. Yep. Good stuff. Very stiff. I had called it at the top here. That's kind of what this is. They're not technical by any means, but they're just kind of, like you said, they're beating the hell out of each other. We got a chair out there. We're halfway up the ramp, not ramp, but kind of the walkway. There's a DDT right on it. Yep. Both guys laid out. Good stuff.
Did you watch any of that WWE Speed stuff?
Yeah, I have enjoyed it because I can literally like if I've got 3 minutes, I can watch it. And
Did
so
all the matches end in like the 3 minutes, or were some of them
they're
like?
supposed to. That's the point. Yeah, and they're supposed to
But it
start
was a
incorporating.
pin. Like, were
Yeah,
any of them like a no decision or anything?
I don't think so. No.
See, that's what I don't like about it, because it's like, why would every match end in 3 minutes? Oh, geez,
And
Sting. Oh my goodness.
that was he's about 10 feet away. Jeez, big
Whoa.
clothesline. Yikes. He went flying there. One, two. Oh,
Boom.
shit.
That was it.
A
Big clothesline off the
about
top rope onto the ramp there. That was a hell of a move.
a
Okay.
7-8 foot clothesline. Okay.
Good match, man. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay. Quick. Good camera shot there, Foley missing the teeth, kind of yelling at the camera. That was good.
And I think, God, it's tough to tell with the lighting. That referee looks like Bill Alfonso. I'm almost positive it is like ECW Bill Alfonso.
Could
That's
be.
kind of
Yep.
cool. Yeah. Okay. So there's your finisher in slow motion. It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't do that finish now. It's not a little weak for a finish now, but at the time, it worked, man. Good. I liked it. All right. Let's get to the aftermath.
Ho! It's time for the aftermath.
All right. What'd you think?
It was good. Better than I expected. I kept thinking, I was like, are they going to take it up to a next level with some of this? But it's 1992, so they really wouldn't. But put yourself in that time frame in 1992 and kind of what they were doing. I thought that was it didn't really need that next level. It was still really good. Both these guys working hard. Like I enjoyed that. I thought it was really good.
I did too.
Yeah. I appreciate you. I still have it on. Eric Bischoff looking great in the Hawaiian shirt that he's got on, and so
Oh, you like that?
and the young Tony Schiavone. I could pull it off.
That's a great Hawaiian shirt.
It really is, yeah. So kind of looking at the aftermath on this one, of course, you had Sting beating Cactus in this false count anywhere match. He then went on to take the newcomer. I'm not sure what happened of this guy, but one Jake Roberts could have killed him right out of the gate here, having their coal miner glove match at Halloween Havoc, and so can't forget that. And so then you had Sting taking on Vader as well, and a little bit more eventually, what was this? The King of Cable, as well as Starcade, or at Starcade. And so really these guys just kind of kept going at it. And so had a match in London, Ireland, kind of all over the place. And so ended up, what was it, that later that year, 93 in March, beating Vader for the championship, which he had lost to him. And so they just had a lot of back and forth, Sting and Vader, but Foley not as involved in this. But on the flip side, like I said, Foley said, consider this the best match he ever worked. It said, unlike
Really?
Jack's first, yeah, that's what it said. For a long time, Foley considered this, and so who knows what he feels now. But
Yeah.
unlike Jack's first stint in WCW, where his personality was quieter, he was now outwardly maniacal, laughing hysterically, shrieking into the air while choking his opponents and yelling his signature catchphrase, bang, bang. And so he then had him taking on Ron Simmons for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship, unsuccessfully on that one.
Damn.
And then he was a heel for a while there as well too, before becoming face again, feuding with Paul Orndorff, Harley Race, Vader, kind of taking on some of those guys as well too. And you had Jack and Orndorff kind of taking on each other, Clash of Champions for the World Heavyweight Championship, or the number one contender spot rather. And so, just and then eventually you had Race and Orndorff beating up Jack, and then following Clash of Champions, Cactus Jack helped Sting win the match. And so they kind of, ended up kind of working together and stuff like that. And so 1992, though, Sting PWI #1, Cactus Jack number 29. So Sting, 92, not surprised how high he was on that one. So best match of the night by almost 100 votes on this one. This Rick Rude's Ricky Steamboat kind of Iron Man match was the next big vote getter. And so, and then the main event with the Steiners and Steve Williams and all that. So what do I got here? The Observer News. There was nothing that blew one's socks off either aside from the performances of both Cactus Jack, and Sting in their match. He's talking about the overall card. And so the rest of the show ranged from solid average matches to solid good matches with little else memorable. Then they just kind of went into this a little bit here. Cactus Jack has a lot of guts, but you simply can't do matches like this very often and enjoy a lengthy career. Kind of a hot take there in 1992. The Cactus won't make it very long if he kept wrestling that style of match, which we all know how intense that style of match was. And so, hopefully the kid turns out to be okay. So Meltzer, though, giving this one 4.5 stars, though, highest rated match on the show.
4.5?
4.5, yeah. Okay. And so, like I said, highest rated of the evening. And so, Tom, where do you want to put this one?
I have this at a 6. I just, again, it was good. But I just thought it was a little kind of sloppy, and I don't know. Again, you had those cameramen all around, and it was kind of a sloppy match, and the finish wasn't great. And yeah, I just didn't really do it for me, but just my opinion. What about you?
I thought it was fun. It was fun. It was fine. Like, especially like kind of seeing these guys in their younger days kind of doing this type of stuff. And so it's kind of cool to see. And so, I'm at a 6.5, maybe closer to 6.25. Or 6 3/4. But yeah, I think this one, it was fun to watch. I would not, especially if you want to go back, like we talked about early Regal career or kind of young, matches for some of these guys. Like, this was a good match. And especially it was before the character was truly kind of what we know in WWE and kind of what it became. So I think, but overall though, really good.
Cool.
So with that, I want to remind everybody, of course, manscaped.com, using that promo code Payoff, getting you 20% off, free shipping, everything in the store. They do have some new stuff, and so I saw they upgraded some of the other the lawnmower models, and so kind of made them pro, kind of made them look a little bit better. And so you're getting a little bit of an upgraded product there now. And so now's the time, if you've been thinking about it and you're like, different, what do I get? Like, it's all affordable, whether you want, 2-in-1s or 10-in-1s, 20-in-1s for some of this stuff with the beard trimmer. And so, manscaped.com, of course, promo code Payoff, getting you 20% off and free shipping. Just tested it myself this morning. Payoff code manscaped.com, promo code Payoff. So with that, let's send them home.
All right. Fun episode. Appreciate you listening. We'll see y'all next week on an all-new episode of The Payoff.